Since acquiring his red hat back in 1539, he had worked hard to establish himself as one of the most powerful figures at the papal court. For the last 4 years, his glittering career had been at a standstill after he was abruptly exiled by Pope Paul IV and forced to retire to the provincial backwater of his family estates in Ferrara. Ercole and Ippolito belonged to Italy's old aristocracy. The eldest sons of Duke Alfonso I and his infamous Duchess Lucrezia Borgia, they had a sister, Eleonora, who was abbess of the convent of Corpus Domini in Ferrara, where she had care of the parental tombs. A younger brother, Francesco, and 2 half-brothers born to their father's mistress, whom he had married after Lucrezia died. Ercole had been a young man when he inherited the title in 1534. Now, a staid 51-year-old, he had proved a good, if somewhat cautious, ruler. His father had secured him a prestigious bride. In 1528, he'd married Renée of France, the daughter of Louis XIII and aunt to the present king, Henri II. She had given birth to 5 healthy children, 2 sons and 3 daughters. The eldest, Anna, was married to Francis, Duke of Guise, and one of France's premier nobles, whose niece, better known to us as Mary Queen of Scots, was married to the Dauphin. Duke Ercole's heir, Alfonso, now 25 years old, had recently married Lucrezia de' Medici, the daughter of Cosimo I, Duke of Florence. But in the summer of 1559, he was abroad on an extended visit to the French court, leaving his young bride behind with her family. His younger brother, Luigi, named for their royal grandfather Louis, was destined for the church. Thanks to the influence of their uncle Ippolito, Luigi had secured the position of Bishop of Ferrara in 1550 at the age of just 12. But his career too was on hold while the cardinal remained in disgrace in Rome. Despite the heir and the spare, Ercole and René's marriage was not happy. Her royal blood may have cemented the ties between Ferrara and France and linked her children to the French crown, but she had caused much embarrassment to her husband by converting to Protestantism. In 1554, under pressure from Paul IV and the Inquisition, the Duke had been forced to make her repudiate her heretical beliefs in public, and to insist on her attendance at Mass in Ferrara Cathedral on important feast days. She did her duty reluctantly and continued to worship as a Protestant in the privacy of her own apartments. The Duke, worried about her influence on their 2 young daughters, sent the girls to the care of his sister Eleonora at Corpus Domini. Remarkably, despite his position in the hierarchy of the Catholic Church, Ippolito was far less fazed by his sister-in-law's choice of faith, and the 2 of them, who had been friends for a long time, continued to remain close. Ippolito himself was a year younger than his brother. His 50th birthday on the 25th of August 1559 was imminent, and he too was a grandfather. His mistress had borne him a daughter in 1536, and he had named her Renea, after his sister-in-law. In 1553, Renea married the Lord of Mirandola, a local landowner, and had recently given birth to a daughter, whom she affectionately named Ippolita. Among Ippolito's account books is one detailing the expenses incurred in buying Renea's trousseau, which came to the huge sum of 3,000 scudi, more than 6 months' salary for his household. Despite his red hat, Ippolito's tastes remained very much those of the aristocratic world into which he had been born. He certainly enjoyed the company of women. His coach horses were named Beauty, Damsel, Sweetheart, and Pet. His wardrobe inventories show his preference for the tight-fitting doublets and hose of the secular world, rather than the shapeless robes of the church. His gloves were perfumed with expensive musk and ambergris, the unmistakable aromas of wealth. He owned as many peacock feather hats